What's up, everyone? This will probably be my last vintage cube of this season. There's only 20 hours left. So this pack, I think you could take Mind Twist or Jace. I think Jace is a little bit better. So when I first pick a really strong blue card, I'm just looking to either follow it up with a decent blue card, or even something like Steam Vents is not bad because that will help my mana fixing if I do end up in blue. And that's probably what I'll do in this pack because this pack is quite weak. I don't want to take either of the blue cards this early. And the lands are just much better than the spells in this pack, so I'll just take the blue land. Now there's Spell Seeker, which would be fine. I think it fits the bill of like a mediocre but always playable blue card. That there's definitely stronger cards in the pack like Urza's Saga and Nissa, but just staying blue is so valuable. I'm not sure how highly I should value Urza's Saga. Maybe I should even take it over Spellseeker here. I'm gonna try out the Saga. So happy to see Venser. Now that I have the Saga, you don't need to do anything too special to make it playable. Even just having a couple signets or artifacts, some other support artifacts that will just pump your constructs a little bit is good. You don't need to go all in on artifacts. But I will keep my eye out open. I will keep my eyes open for the artifact deck, but it doesn't look open so far, so I'll just take the blue card. Okay, and now after saying that, we get Karn, which also makes constructs. So these constructs, they definitely combo with each other because they each pump each other. And I already have Jace, which is really good with signets, so it'll be nice to take another 4-mana Planeswalker, and now I can really value signets highly. So here's two decent artifacts, Phyrexian Revoker and Stonecoil Serpent. Both go along with my construct plan. I think one of those will be better than Repeal, and it's not looking like I'll necessarily be a big mana deck, which is where Stonecoil Serpent is going to be better, so I think Revoker might be a better place to start. We haven't seen a ton of red so far. Here's Unholy Heat. I do have the Steam Vents, so I'm keeping that in mind. There is just a solid blue 6-drop, Consecrated Sphinx, which you would have saw in my last video. We definitely won some games with it in the fair matchups, especially against green or sometimes against red. It's really hard to beat if you're able to get it down. And it's also good with signets and other mana ramps, so I think that's a pretty easy pick. Just stay in blue. It seems like white is pretty open. Council's Judgment is a strong card. There's a Lightning Strike. The Empiric Tutor is probably not for our deck. That's probably more for a combo deck. So I am seeing white, but I'm just going to take Lightning Strike because I have the Steam Vents. And you can see already this is common with blue decks. There's so many double blue cards, so mana is always a problem in these decks. This is the pack that I opened, and yeah, we're seeing white is definitely more open than red. And these two white cards are fairly weak. Well, I guess there's three. There's Kitchen Finks as well. I think I just want the land, actually. The Oust Wield as well. Inkwell Leviathan, which would go well if I end up with Tinker, but I don't want to count on that. I think I'll just take the Oust. It's a decent controlling card. Thundermaw Hellkite Wield. So red is definitely a little bit open too. Blade Splicer comes with an artifact creature, so that's kind of cool. So that's going to be the tiebreaker I use. I'll take the Blade Splicer. I'm really torn between white and red here. But I think Voltaic Visionary is the best card. Now these last few picks don't matter too much. I don't want to play 3 colors just because like I mentioned, I already have 1 colorless land, so many double blue cards. There's just not that much upside to playing 3 colors usually. So this might be where I make my decision to go white, because Palace Jailer is probably the strongest card in this pack. I like Hullbreaker Horror, but yeah, we did not get any artifact ramp. And I do want to keep my eyes out for a 0 or 1 mana artifact for the Urza Saga, which would be nice to open a Mox or a Mana Crypt or something like that, but as it stands, I'll just take the Palace Jailer, and we're going to be looking at going into white. So I'll put the red cards in the sideboard, and wow, we get past Mox Pearl right after saying that that's what we're looking for, and now it's an on-color Mox, so that's perfect. If we're really lucky, we can table this to Fairy, but otherwise, there might be maybe a Force of Negation would wheel, but we're really happy to get the Mox. It's great with our constructs and our 4 mana planeswalkers we're trying to put down. Now here's Azorius Signet, which is the perfect signet. There are a lot of double white cards in this cube as well, so we are going to want to have good mana. Mentor is an okay card. Memory Deluge, I happily would play that too, but yeah, I want to get at least 1 signet. And now we're capable of having really strong draws, like turn 1 land, Mox, Signet, turn 2 Karn, use the -2, and then that makes a 3/3 construct. And then on the following turn, you can make another one and then attack with a 4/4. It just puts a lot of power on the board really quick. So I'm really happy about going into white. And there's some options here. Do like Thirst for Discovery. It's definitely better in like the decks that play at instant speed, and we really do not. I guess blue is like not super open. We didn't get any counter spells in the first pack. But I think Teferi is probably the best pick for us. Solitude is good too, but I think Teferi's a little bit better. There's a couple other double white cards. I only like Gideon in the aggressive decks, and Cemetery Protector is mostly a sideboard card against graveyard decks, I feel like. So Skydiver is decent. I think it's a little slow and reactive, though. I think Fact or Fiction is just better, so I'll take that. Now I can take my first counterspell, Mana Tithe. My mana is okay, just considering I have the Deserted Beach and the Signet, so sometimes it's hard to play Mana Tithe in these decks, because you want to be heavy blue, but I'm happy to take it there. Sensei's Divining Top, that's another card that Urza Saga can fetch. So it might be worth playing in decks like this. I haven't really tried that yet. Maybe I'll try it out this time because I don't really need Sun Titan. Sun Titan would be fine in this deck, but I feel like we don't need it. Take out this Adversary, that's probably going to be a sideboard card. We are missing some early plays with this deck, so that's going to make these Signets even more important for us to get. Recruiter of the Guard, it has some targets to get. I feel like this card is just so slow. I don't love it. I'll just take the Cave of the Frost Dragon. It's good in the control matchups. Hullbreaker Horror, I really love playing with this card, but we are not a big mana deck, so it's just going to be too slow. I like Geist, even though it's kind of a card without a home in the cube, because it just, blue-white is really a control archetype in cube, but sometimes you can get some hybrid decks that can play the aggro control strategy. It can be really hard to balance, but Geist is at least good from the sideboard. You can bring it in against combo, and certain decks it's really good against. So yeah, we didn't table any of the blue cards out of this pack. There was like 2 or 3 blue cards. So pretty standard for Vintage Cube. I'll take the Sentinel because it will help us against Reanimator. So we are actually a bit light on playables. And looking into the next pack, I'll be trying to get some more mana accelerants and counterspells. And really trying to avoid having to play stuff like these 2 mana, 3 power creatures. They just really don't work in this style of deck. I don't think I'll be able to use the Temple Garden. So both of these wheeled. Maybe the Gideon's better just because of the place on the curve. That was kind of a tough pick. I don't really like playing Gideon in my control decks because it doesn't affect the board until it gets to 6 loyalty. It's really an aggressive card. So I don't like playing Gideon, Adeline. Yeah, this is one of the problems with blue-white. When white is really open and blue is not, you're just way better off playing mono-white aggro than you are trying to play like blue-white aggro. It's just not going to work, really. This is an interesting pack. Mox Diamond is okay in our deck. It's actually pretty good. I have a lot of card draw. I have Fact or Fiction, Teferi, Karn, Jace. So you really want to have card draw when you have Mox Diamond or Chrome Mox to counteract the card disadvantage. But there's also an Oko, which is going to be pretty hard for us to cast. And then Elspeth will be a great 6-drop. That definitely might wheel. But yeah, this is an easy Mox. It's great with our Urza Saga and Karn. Here's a blue fetch land, which currently doesn't have a dual land to get. Snapcaster Mage, which has some mediocre targets. Those are really the only options, and I guess I'm going to take the Snapcaster. The fetch land is good with our Jace, but besides that, there's no guarantee that we're going to get Tundra or Hallowed Fountain. And so I will take the Snapcaster, even though it's really not great in this deck. But I'm hoping to maybe get a counterspell or something. Okay, now here's the Tundra. I can take the Tundra now, or I can take one of these cards that's good against creatures, Wrath of God or Control Magic. This is a pretty good Wrath of God deck, because we have some Planeswalkers. And Wrath of God is good with Snapcaster Mage too. Yeah, I think Wrath of God is just too important. This is a tough pick. This is kind of a miss for us. I don't think we're going to have enough mana to cast Emrakul, but maybe. It's also kind of a liability to even have it in our deck, just because we can get briberied. But I don't see myself playing any of these other cards, actually. Could take Sundown Pass and splash red, but I don't really like the idea of splashing red. It doesn't bring me much except for some burn spells. I actually think that is the best plan, to just take the land, and it will give me some flexibility if I play against mono red or something, because I do have the Mox Diamond, so that is a free red source, and I have the Steam Vents, so I actually am pretty close to a red splash. Okay, here's the Tinker. Wow. It's a late Tinker, and we do have a good Tinker deck, but we have nothing to get with it. So I would be happy to take the Path to Exile. It's going to make our Snapcaster better. Seachrome Coast would be a welcome addition. But Skyclave Apparition, I think, is just a little bit too good, and we actually do still need playables. I'm happy to take that. Okay, here's our counterspell. It is a Daze, but it might have to be what we take. Laelia would be an okay splash. I do want to avoid that. Dismember would be okay too, but I'll take the Daze. Skull Clamp, we can fetch that with Urza's Saga. I don't think it's going to work in our deck, though. Maybe we'll get that Elspeth back. But this, we're going to have to take Gideon. I don't think Batterskull is going to work. Okay, we got the Elspeth. I think it's better than Phantasmal Image. Yeah, we have a solid blue-white Planeswalkers deck. I like Disenchant. We could even main deck it. Yeah, I don't think we will really table anything. I'm trying to decide if we want to play the red splash. Student of Warfare, maybe a decent sideboard card. Parallax Wave. I think you can combo that card with Venser. So we ended up leaving the aggressive creatures and aggressive 3-drops in the sideboard and just stick to blue-white. Maybe we can sideboard into some red, but let's play this. Okay, looks like we are on the draw here. And this is a decent hand with the Mox. We do need to hit some lands. Oh wow, this is hilarious. Look at how tiny this Library of Alexandria is. I was just messing with the settings here. Okay, let's try that. Hopefully it looks okay. I feel like these cards look kind of awkward. Auto size cards? Yeah, that's what we want. Library is definitely good against our deck. Because we don't really close games out super fast. So hopefully we can hit a land next turn. There's a Signet, so I can either disenchant that or I can play Phyrexian Revoker. Seems okay to start by disenchanting. I'm hoping to draw land here. Signet is the second best, though. I'm not sure what I want to do against this Suspicious Stowaway. Maybe I just main phase Fact or Fiction and let them have it for a turn. Yeah, I don't think I want a Path to Exile. And I probably want a Fact or Fiction main phase anyways to hit a land, so let's go for it. They're going to go lands and spells. Nice play by my opponent. I don't really have a decision there. It looks like they are playing some sort of big mana deck. Maybe they have more artifact mana, or maybe they even have channel, because we just have seen Emrakul. But they discarded Manamorphose. Interesting. Yeah, they might be big mana storm. Manamorphose for 2 black. Necromancy, wow. So that has protection from instants. So Path to Exile. I think what they will do, let's see, exile target creature. So on my turn, I imagine their play is like play Phyrexian Revoker and then Path to Exile it, and then look at my library. Yeah, I think that means I have to use the Path to Exile here. Even though I don't necessarily want to remove their Stowaway, because I will just be able to clear it with Wrath of God, but I don't want my opponent to see my library. I also don't want to lose one of my creatures. Basically, at the moment, my opponent has no plays on my turn. They won't be able to play any of these cards profitably. Actually, okay, that's not true. Okay, somehow I forgot that this Emrakul is not giving them the cast trigger. And even if it did, they would have been able to play both of my creatures down, so that I would have to Wrath of God them. So that was a bit of a misplay with the Path to Exile. And now there's really not much to do here except just cast Wrath of God. I don't want to use Elspeth because they can just attack it with Lumbering Falls. Elspeth was a good draw, though. My opponent's deck is pretty confusing. Urza, okay, maybe they have more Eldrazi in their deck that they're trying to hit. Recurring Nightmare, that's pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. Just going to play the Sphinx down and start drawing cards. I have some good draws in my deck, like Snapcaster Mage. Okay, there's Chupacabra. Yeah, we're in trouble this game. Okay, well, drawing off the Sphinx has paid off. We hit Snapcaster. It feels like we're super far behind this game, though, so I'm not sure if we will be able to come back, but I guess it's worth a try. We're going to call Recurring Nightmare. Get down the Urza Saga. We'll see how this goes. My opponent's still drawing 2 cards every turn. I mean, it's going to be hard to overcome. 2 Whisperwoods. Not bad. But I can destroy both of the Whisperwoods here. They do get another Manifest. Okay, do I need to Blade Splicer? Or can I use the Urza Saga? Yeah, this is too bad. I actually have to use the Blade Splicer. Because they do have the Lumbering Falls, and I am at 5. Oh wow, they turned over Primeval Titan. Pretty good. They're attacking everything at me. Block here. This is the only way I can survive. So that is what I'll do. Go to 2, but now they have Recurring Nightmare back online. And they can get Emrakul again. They have a really weird deck, but it matches up against what I'm doing pretty well. So the Construct is a 4/4. We have Teferi on top. Guess we have outs here. Put the Trample creature on top. Now they still have Recurring Nightmare going. So yeah, I don't think I have more answers is the problem. I need to answer like all of the creatures in their graveyard. I feel like we're just slightly out of reach here. I will be able to attack the Garruk next turn and keep them off of Overrun, but we can get Emrakul into play this turn. I don't think I can answer that. Yeah, we're missing like some action in this deck so that we could go over the top of what our opponent's doing. Some counter spells would be really nice in this matchup. But let's see what we can draw. Mox Diamond, okay. We are dead. Emrakul has trample. Yeah, we are dead. So it felt like we did okay considering that was against a turn 1 library. And we can definitely change our deck up a little bit after what we saw. I like Gideon. I don't like Manatithe and Daze. They're probably a little weak against this opponent. Would Parallax Wave work? Not great. Sun Gold Sentinel can exile the cards they're trying to reanimate. I think our deck's okay. I'm just going to play it the way it is. This hand's not bad. We need to draw some lands so we can use this Mox. But it's good to have Manatithe in the opening hand. Okay, I think my opponent just clicked through their turn. They mean to do that? No, it looks like I think they misclicked. So pretty unfortunate for the opponent there, discarding that land. I do have a really strong hand. I was able to draw 2 lands in a row. I feel really good about that. And now we have Manatithe. It honestly is kind of close. Like I could just put it down and become the Monarch and I could be drawing cards right now. Feels like I want to wait though. The exile ability is going to be strong. See if they can find a blocker. Okay, yeah, Solemn. And block Geist. So now I'm glad that I have the Palace Jailer in hand. So now I have 3 lethal creatures. They're going to need something pretty good here. Okay, we got that one. And yeah, I'm still happy with the deck. This hand is definitely slow, but I'm happy it has the Oust. It has mono 4-drops, and now we draw Gideon. Our mid game is going to be really strong. Okay, so unfortunately, yeah, they have a accelerant that we cannot use Oust on. We've drawn the lands that we need, but yeah, we might just fall behind based on the fact that we don't have acceleration. Interesting to main phase just run out the Recurring Nightmare. Given that they've seen Disenchant from me. Looks like they might have a bit of an awkward hand. But I do get to put down one of my Planeswalkers. I think that's better than Fact or Fiction. So they've missed a land drop. I feel pretty good about the position. I think I might want to just Karn Plus, actually, and save the Jace, because I might need to save it and use the minus at some point. And I don't want to make a construct. I don't want to play into, like, Chupacabra. Even though, I mean, they don't have a second black, but let's see if they're able to get something into their graveyard. Okay, there's Garruk, Relentless. They have a creature they can sacrifice now. But I think just putting Gideon down is pretty strong on this board state. And I'll just plus Karn again. Daze and Deserted Beach. I feel like I have the Recurring Nightmare pretty well handled. And I did draw the Disenchant, but I don't need to use it yet. I have a few options here. I think this is the option I like most. I'm just going to take out their Garruk. Then I'm going to Revoker, name Golgari Signet. And that will take them off of black mana. And then I can create a 2/2. Now my Planeswalkers are relatively safe. Forcer was a decent draw. Now they have double black, but they need to answer the Revoker, though. Could attack. That's fine. I'll just trade my Construct. There are a lot of ways I can play this. Okay, yeah. There was really no way to go wrong there. My opponent just kept a hand that was not super functional. Here we are for round 2. We're on the play. This is a solid hand. I'll play the Deserted Beach on turn 1 in case we draw Geist of St. Traft. And I think Playing the Mox is usually correct in cube. You usually want to dodge like Duress or Inquisition. Okay, this is good enough for me to take out their Birds of Paradise and just play my Apparition on curve. So no great play here, but I'll get to keep up Mana Tithe for the next 2 turns. Okay, no 4 or 5 drop. Or maybe my opponent could just be playing around all of my open mana. Certainly a possibility. But I will definitely just be using Teferi. And I could even minus. But I don't think I need to do that. I can still keep up Mana Tithe. Okay, Acidic Slime. Mana Tithe is not going to work against that, because they can untap the Devoted Druid. So I will just be patient. This is fairly interesting. I can Palace Jailer. Palace Jailer on the... Yeah, okay, I like this plan, actually. Gonna Palace Jailer the Devoted Druid. And then I will Teferi to tuck the Slime. Now, I mean, usually you don't want to tuck a card like Acidic Slime, but I might be able to Mana Tithe that on the way down. They do... Currently, they only have 4 forests, so now they have 5. Okay, so... It looks like they will be able to pay for the Mana Tithe, but that's okay. We are drawing plenty of cards. There's a Daze, so now I can Mana Tithe plus Daze. And I think I just want to get aggressive. I'm just going to make creature. Should attack first, though. So just going to keep attacking with these dorky 2/2s. And I don't need to oust. I'd rather just hold up my counter spells. Although I guess I could have done both. But yeah, I don't feel like I need to oust the Pilgrim. Okay, so I think we just were lucky to out-tempo them there with our Mox plus card draw, and the Palace Jailer and Skyclave Apparition really showing how strong those cards are. Especially against green, who's just not going to be able to remove them. The deck is set up pretty well against green. So this is another slow hand, but hopefully we can draw into maybe one more piece of disruption or ramp, but the Revoker is going to be okay because I can call Raphellos here. But yeah, we're going to need something else. If we just have the turn 4 Jace, it might be too slow, but we'll see. Oh, okay, that's quite good. Okay, let's see if the opponent has something big to follow it up with. If they do, we're definitely going to be in trouble. That's not unbeatable. There's Snapcaster Mage, so we're going to take a lot of damage next turn. I'm really looking for Wrath of God. Just trying to figure out the best way to find that Wrath of God. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to survive enough turns here. But the Jace will gain me, it should gain me 4 life here. Maybe, no, do they just have Craterhoof? Ulamog. Okay, well, I have days. But now I'm going to take 8. Then go to 9. But yeah, I'm actually just dead here. Okay, well that hand was just a little bit too explosive for me to beat. It's possible I should go into red. I think the splash is just too weak though. My mana's just not good enough. I feel like this hand is good enough. Mana Tithe is going to be strong. Revoker is strong. It's too bad to have the Disenchant. That card doesn't seem very good in the matchup. And we do need to draw. We need to draw into some action, but we have plenty of Planeswalkers and things like that. Okay, Devoted Druid. That's fine. Let's see if they have the Rexage again. No, they have Jite. Okay, so we found the Disenchant target. So I'm not upset about that. So our disruption is working out this game so far. But we have plenty of turns, it seems like, to just draw a Planeswalker or something like that. I don't feel a need to use the Disenchant yet. Okay, so not the best draws so far, but it is holding up. My opponent definitely could be playing around Daze. Wonder. I could play Snapcaster and start attacking. I don't know, it just doesn't seem right. Augur is pretty strong. Okay, they don't have any plays. Wow, we're really flooding out really bad. I'm gonna keep playing my lands though, because I want to be able to like draw Fact or Fiction and then like play a Planeswalker in the same turn. Wow, can my opponent cast Ulamog? There's the slime, which is gonna destroy my Revoker, I suppose. And now, yeah, Augur is really a problem because they have a 0, a 1, and a 2. Yeah, they just got a ton of card advantage off that Augur, so gonna need to find the Wrath of God pretty quickly. Okay, Blade Splicer, that might buy me some time, but yeah, I really need to... The Augur is just drawing them so many cards each turn, I'm probably just dead now. Emrakul, nice. Okay, well, that was not really not much of a game, but good game. Here we are for the last round. We're on the draw. This is another good Mana Tithe hand. Always good to have it in your opening hand. Geist was a decent draw. Geist plus Palace Jailer, we saw that last round. And we're up against 2 blue lands, so we might not get a chance to use this Mana Tithe. They successfully got the Ancestral Recall past the Mana Tithe, but now they just fire off a Mind Twist for 2. That's kind of a weird play to see. I suppose that means that they have some plays lined up for the turns to come. But either way, I will play out my Geist. They are really close to this Shelldock, I will note. They will probably get there before I can close the game out. Solemn is not bad, but Palace Jailer is really good against Solemn because it exiles, so they don't get to draw the card. So feeling pretty good about the draws that I've had so far. Let's see if they have a sweeper. If they don't, we're going to be in a pretty good position. Even if they play a big creature, Elspeth is going to be really good against that. Okay, Golos, so we can disenchant that. Interesting to see Golos in this blue-black deck. Maybe they have some signets that you can activate it off. Don't usually love Golos unless I have a lot of artifacts or... Okay, they have a Shambling Vents. But Yeah, this is just going to be disenchant for me, and then attack for 8. Don't want to show them the Mox Diamond. I'd rather just play the land out, and yeah, they're really going to need a sweeper. So we definitely have disenchant targets. Now we see a green signet, so maybe they can activate Golos. I'm guessing they might have some artifact ramp to power out their Mind Twist. Okay, Fractured Identity. That's a good start. We'll see what this is able to do. Yeah, it does give them Monarch, but I actually just have lethal with my flyers. So good to know about the Fractured Identity. Definitely a broken card. Really good against Planeswalkers. It looks like we're just facing a Esper control deck. With it does have Ancestral and Mind Twist. Definitely a strong looking deck. Something like Gideon might be good. Yeah, let's trade in the 5-mana Gideon for the 3-mana Gideon. We'll go with the more proactive one. I don't want to have this Gideon stuck in my hand and get it Mind Twisted. Okay, this hand looks great. Geist was really good last game, and we have Mana Tithe again. Mana Tithe in the opening hand, which is exactly what you want. Okay, so there's a second Signet, and I will just Mana Tithe. There's no guarantee we're going to get another shot to use this. And really, this is the turn that I would get to use it on. But yeah, I can also Snapcaster it later. Coalition Relic. Okay. That's a good Revoker target. So they'll still get 1 mana here from this ability, but they won't be able to tap it now. Okay, let's see if they have any other basics in their deck. It looks like just blue and black basics. Okay, I like just getting Karn down and trying to get some more lands into my hand. I'm not worried about it getting attacked. I'm doing a good job of restricting their mana, so I would like to keep up Mana Tithe at some point, but we don't really have the option at the moment. I would like to prevent my opponent from using Fractured Identity. Let's see, they're probably going to be able to hit a land off of this Ponder. Yeah, so they chose to not shuffle, and wow, okay, I drew the Mox Pearl, so I can keep up Mana Tithe. I think just going Construct is going to be good here. So I have the choice of which I can cast whichever of these 3 drops I want here. The time to cast Gideon would have been pre-combat, but I don't think that I wasn't really thinking of playing that one anyways. I think Blade Splicer makes the most sense. The board is not such that I want to be attacking with Geist at the moment. I don't want to attack it right into their Solemn. If we can Mana Tithe something this turn, that's just going to be game. That would just be insane. Wow, they discard Glenelendra. That's a strong card. And they have Shelldock again, and we are getting pretty close to Shelldock. My Karn is going to keep making my library smaller. And they are at 24 cards already. Ah, damnation. Okay, so definitely got punished for overexerting into that. I think I just hold the Snapcaster. So we're going to play a much longer game now. So let's see if they have a Snapcaster of their own. Although, yeah, Gideon is really good against sweepers because he's only a creature on my turn, but yeah, they have access to the Coalition Relic mana. They really just have a ton of mana. Okay, Bribery, so that's going to get Consecrated Sphinx. Let me read Gideon. Yeah, Gideon has Indestructible, so the Wrath of God's going to be amazing here if I can resolve this. Let's see if they have Mind Twist in their hand or a Counterspell. That would put them very far ahead. But if I'm able to resolve this Wrath of God, okay, they destroy Karn. So we're not going to have to worry about those 2 cards. Okay, let's see what they have against this. Shelldock is online next turn. They're going to 8. They can attack my Gideon with Shambling Vent if they really want to. And I have a pretty weak Snapcaster Mage. I don't see the Mana Tithe really doing anything this game. But I can Wrath of God again if I need to. Gear Hulk. Okay, so that's gonna... Let's see. That's gonna destroy the Gideon, okay. Reaping Tar Pit, so they have some good creature lands, which are good in the matchup. Now if they Shelldock, I can Mana Tithe. But this Gear Hulk is a problem. Okay, this is a good start. They actually don't have another... Yeah, this is funny. It's a good split by my opponent. but it's pretty awkward. I have to choose between Venser to bounce the Gearhulk or Snapcaster on Mana Tithe. I guess it's not that much of a choice. I think this is just too good. They don't have another instant in their graveyard, actually. So bouncing the Gearhulk is not a huge liability. So if they have a creature and they can block my Geist here, then that's going to be bad. They just had repeal. Okay, so that is pretty lucky, and I think I made the right decision. I also just have Snapcaster Fact or Fiction now. And they have Gearhulk plus repeal. That can just bounce my 4/4 token again. Okay, they found the Ancestral. So they're going to have access to a ton of cards. Yeah, it's getting to the point where it might be hard for me to close out the game because a lot of my threats have been used up. And they just have so many cards. So I'll just pass back. They have Gearhulk. I don't want to attack into it. They have Shambling Vent up as well. But once they play Gearhulk, I'm going to Snapcaster Fact or Fiction. Okay, we found a few threats. Interesting, Teferi against everything. I think everything is probably better. Kind of wish I did that main phase. Maybe I should have, so I could play the Urza Saga. I think I just path here. I don't think I'm going to find a better target. Just do it while they have no blue mana open. My opponent's at 6, so I mean I'm wanting to just get into a position where I can attack with these dorky creatures. It's possible I will regret that play if they have another sweeper or if they Snapcaster Damnation or something, but I don't want to let them like untap and cast a Venser of their own and like bounce their Gearhulk. Wow, it looks like they have something really big. What is this? Oh, are they playing Upheaval? Wonder what they're gonna have after the. I mean, it looks like Upheaval. I have 2 Mox. So, I mean, I have a turn 1 Geist, but they've got 6 mana, so let's see what sort of threat they're able to put onto the board. Not feeling terrible about this. I can even turn 1 Saga Geist, then start making artifacts. Start making constructs. Could turn, I think I just want to play a threat given they're at 6. Could turn 1 Skyclave Apparition, take out the Coalition Relic. Okay, there's some more mana. They've got lots of mana. So I think I'm going to save the Saga till later, actually. I think it's too likely that on turn 2 I'm going to want to play Venser or maybe Skyclave Apparition. I'm going to want to, like, get my Geist to be able to attack. Maybe my opponent's going to have a counterspell here, in which case the Saga will be really good. So maybe I actually do both. Let's see, they just discarded lands. Mox Diamond really doing some work here. So yeah, I think I want to Saga. Blue, white. And so now I have the option next turn. If they counter this, I might want to activate the Saga. If they don't counter this, then next turn I can just Venser, bounce their creature. That'll be really good. I have 11 cards in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, they didn't have a counter. So I'm feeling like we might be able to get through. I think their deck might be just like light on action and threats, even though they were able to get off a huge upheaval. Okay, Gonti. Let's see. Do I have removal in my deck that they can get? Oust. No, Oust. They can't target this Geist. Okay, so yeah, now I just cast Venser and just, if they don't have anything, that is going to do it. Okay, nice. Happy to win that tough matchup. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next season.